Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us virtually today. The college is conducting this live briefing as an update to the campus community. We want to share our plans moving forward in terms of COVID-19 guidelines and restrictions, and we'd also like to provide you with update regarding the numbers and the data in terms of COVID testing on our campus. So let's start by welcoming President Steve Balls to the podium.
Hello and good morning. I'm grateful to be here and am so grateful to the Augustana community for the tremendous experience that they've provided over the last 2 weeks. We owe the campus community abundant thanks for the many ways that you have worked together to keep Augustana open and thriving. The cooperation and commitment to each other is something we thank you for. We thank you for wearing your masks, maintaining physical distancing, using the Campus Clear application, and limiting gathering sizes. My wife Jane and I walk the campus very often, and we enjoy seeing students. It was an incredibly lonely summer at Augustana College as this campus was largely vacant. It is wonderful to see students fill the campus again, walking the SLU path, enjoying the Gerber Center, and going to classes. This year, more than ever, I am especially proud and happy to feel the buzz of campus. And while you won't see me smiling as I walk across the quad because of my mask, please know that I am so grateful that everyone is back. We have great things going at Augustana College. We have more classes with live components than most other colleges and universities. We have strong compliance with our social distancing and masking requirements. And we have very few cases of the disease. Our biggest threat to continuing live classes at Augustana College is complacency. The number of cases outside of Augustana in Rock Island County is still too high, so there is a great need for us to continue our good work and continue to be cautious. Wearing your masks inside and out matters. Keeping physical distancing, washing your hands, and limiting your gathering sizes. I want Augustana to be a small school with the biggest heart. The college that did the right things. The college that persevered through this crisis. And the college that has selfless students, faculty, and staff who understand what matters most. And with that, let me turn things over to our Dean of Students, Dr. Wes Brooks.
Thank you, President Bowles. Today marks 2 weeks since the beginning of the fall 2020 semester. And I'd like to start by updating our campus community on the testing and contact tracing data to this point. Augustana College has conducted 614 COVID-19 tests as part of our surveillance testing on campus. Testing takes place on Tuesdays and data is shared through an online dashboard on Mondays. Both students and employees participate in the surveillance testing program. Through the testing, we've identified 3 positive cases, 1 inconclusive test, and 610 negative tests. You may find it interesting to know that of those volunteering to be tested in September, we have 49 different academic majors represented. Students from 18 different residence halls or transitional living areas, 47 students involved in music offerings, 155 student athletes, and 66 Greek life members. In addition, students and employees have contacted the college to share the results of COVID tests administered beyond the college's testing procedures. Those numbers bring the total number of positive student cases to only 6 at Augustana since the start of the academic year. To track all of the COVID-19 testing and related concerns, 19 employees have done extensive contact tracing, and those people need to be applauded. It is an essential part of our COVID response program. So thank you to our contact tracers. Current data as of this morning from our contact tracing efforts include only 4 students in isolation because they are symptomatic or have had a positive COVID-19 test. 0 isolation beds on campus are occupied at this time, as all 4 of those students are isolating off campus. As of today, we also have 18 students in quarantine, meaning they have had close contact with someone who is symptomatic or close contact with someone who has a positive COVID-19 test, but they themselves have not tested positive at this time. 8 of those 18 students are in quarantine housing on campus. 1 student is quarantining in place on campus, and the other 9 students are off campus. And finally, we have 4 students who are sequestering as of this morning because they have had close contact with suspected but unconfirmed cases. 1 student sequestering on campus, 3 students sequestering off campus. These numbers further our strong desire to keep doing the things that lessens the odds of COVID-19 further spreading on Augustana's campus. So today, I wanted to update you on our current guidelines that we have in place, but we'll keep most of those restrictions in place moving forward for the next 2 weeks until September 28th. We'd ask you to do the following. First, stay on campus as much as possible. We recognize Augustana College is not a bubble, but our efforts the last 2 weeks to minimize off-campus travel has clearly been effective. Students, you are allowed to travel home. However, please continue to be extremely cautious when leaving campus, and we ask that students minimize the number of off-campus trips that you take. As of now, our surveillance data points indicate our community efforts to physically distance, wear face masks, limit group gatherings, minimize contact beyond the Augustana community, and practice good hand hygiene has been effective. Students residing on campus, you may leave to visit family, but you should not visit domestic hotspots or violate other Augie COVID response efforts by not physically distancing, not masking, or failing to comply with the Illinois size gathering limit of 50, regardless of if you are in Illinois or any other state. If students are found to be traveling off campus and are not compliant with physical distancing, masking, or other group gathering size limits, while we are still restricted to limited off-campus departures, student conduct action will be taken and quarantine of those students may be necessary. The next important restriction is that students should not gather in groups of more than 10 people. This rule applies to all gatherings that are not sponsored by Augustana College, such as student activities through the OSL, for example. This 10-person restriction includes gatherings of Augustana students, but also gatherings with non-Augustana students. Gatherings are defined as parties, hanging out, socializing, or any other groups of individuals. In short, students should not be socializing in groups more than 10 total people unless at events sponsored by the college where we know physical distancing and face masks are required. And please know that even when you are adhering to these new size limits of 10 or less, physical distancing and masking must continue to be followed. It's for the benefit of the entire community. Another restriction is that we will have limits for the number of guests in residence halls remain in place. So please do not have more than 1 guest in a residence hall room. The college will continue to monitor student behavior and violations in residence halls and social gatherings of more than 10 students, either on or off campus, will result in disciplinary processes along with interim actions that will take effect immediately if and when necessary. We are also adding a new restriction at this time, which is the restriction on going to the district, because bars there have not shared plans to adequately address the spread of COVID-19. Students can, however, go to restaurants and other public venues. Until further notice, students who wish to go to restaurants and venues should go only where there are outdoor spaces and use those outdoor spaces only, while at the same time following the college's mask and physical distancing requirements. Sometimes when you hear what you can't do, you find yourself asking, what is allowed? What can I do? Well, let me highlight some of those things for you. Augustana students can run essential errands, such as going to the grocery store, visiting the pharmacy, and getting to a medical provider. Students should consider carryout from local restaurants. Certainly eat in our dining facility or pick up food to go. Spend time outside, especially while the weather remains nice, but do so masked. And attend work both on and off campus. Again, as we said 2 weeks ago, please make sure that your employers off campus are adhering to those COVID guidelines that are set in place by the state. Please know you can also walk or ride your bike on one of the Quad Cities' great trails. Visit our local parks, including Lincoln Park, just across 38th Street from the main campus. Spread a blanket out on the quad to study. Get a Frisbee or a ball, play with friends. Order food and groceries, have them delivered to campus. And certainly get a workout in at PepsiCo or otherwise, and engage in the numerous offerings provided by the Office of Student Life and Leadership. Augustana College is not out of the woods. Our leadership team has monitored other colleges and universities that returned to campus before we did. And we can see that weeks 3 and 4, which we are now in, appear to be the time when institutions have faced the toughest challenges related to COVID-19. Some institutions have had to transition fully to distance learning. Some have quarantined their entire college, and others sending students home for the entire remainder of the fall semester. We do not want this for Augustana. We do not want this for you. And I can tell by the actions of our entire campus community, none of us want that for one another. And I am so grateful to all of you for working so hard the first 2 weeks and adhering to our COVID expectations. So let me conclude with gratitude and thanks. Please keep up the good work, and know that, like President Balls, I am incredibly proud of our campus community. Thanks to each and every one of you for the vital role you play in keeping our campus as healthy as possible. In the spirit of #VikingsTakeCare, we're doing the hard work that is required, and we are seeing the results. On or before September 28th, we will issue additional communication, so students, employees, and others will have a clear sense at that time of actions that Augustana will adjust or continue. Thanks for listening. Have a great day and a great week. Thank you.